So let's start up with something that is helpful for you, because support comes from ZBiotics. Now, let me tell you, this stuff is a game changer. It is called pre-alcohol. Here's the deal. When you drink, alcohol turns into a nasty byproduct in your gut that makes you feel awful the next day. It's not dehydration like everyone says. Everyone thinks it is. It's not. It is that toxin that your body has to process. So ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink was invented by PhD scientists to break that byproduct down so you wake up ready to go. I tried it before, well, Sunday football, drinks, wings, and the whole nine. And then, this morning, hey, I'm good. I was on my game right now. No fog, no crash, no regrets. Okay, so fall means football, tailgates, and a few too many cheers moments. So before you raise a glass to your team, raise a ZBiotics first. So go to zbiotics.com/lemon to get 15% off of your first order with code LEMON, backed by a 100% money back guarantee. That's zbiotics.com/lemon. Use the code LEMON for 15% off, and you'll feel your best the next morning. Welcome, everybody, to Lemon Live at 5. So grateful that you all are here right now. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to start with some breaking news. The distraction tour continues. Live pictures now from the White House and the Oval Office. He's surrounded by sycophants, obviously, and his cabinet, some one and the same. And he is announcing that he's going to send troops now to Memphis, Tennessee. Stephen Miller is speaking. Let's see what Stephen Miller has to say.
To get all the criminals, all the violent offenders, all the murderers, all the cartels, and all the domestic terrorists off our streets. So whether you're Antifa, whether you're a domestic terrorist, whether you are a violent gang member, a drug trafficker, a trained Iraqwa killer, or anyone else that's threatening our people, President Trump is saying he's going to use his FBI, his DOD, his ATF, his DEA to wipe you out, to put you in behind bars, to take you off the street, or to apply whatever legal consequences necessary. Mr. President, I'm honored beyond words to be a part of this team under your leadership as you've saved thousands of lives.
Thank you very much. Come on over. Let's sign that bill.
Okay. Okay. Now, let me tell you what he didn't mention. Let's see, who is that? Marsha Blackburn was speaking earlier. There you see Pam, Pam Bondi. Who else is speaking now?
They're from Tennessee. When you talk to them, when you talk to the actual population out there who interact with them every day, they say it's a blessing to have them as a part of their life. And then for the National Guard getting to have this where they get to improve their communities.
Oh my gosh, no one is saying that. It's that same old story every time. This big guy came up to me and he was in tears. And big guy didn't cry since he was a baby. Didn't even cry when he was a baby. And he said to me, you got to save America. Just like he told the story when he was announcing that he's going to send troops to Memphis. He said, this guy said to me and said, you can't give up on Chicago. You got to save Chicago. This big guy came up to me and said, you got to save Chicago. Oh, and there's a signature. He said, it looks like the signature he said wasn't his signature. Interesting. So this is what Stephen Miller didn't say, as they are all applauding each other and smelling their own farts in the Oval Office there. He didn't say anything about the number one purveyor of domestic terror in the country, the folks who carry out acts that took one of their own that they are now claiming is a civil rights leader, Charlie Kirk. They're not talking about the rash or epidemic of mostly young white men, but white men radicalized to the right who are picking people off with guns. A lot of AR-15s, a lot of rifles out there by the white guys, but he didn't say anything about that. He mentioned, all of the gangs and the Antifa, and like Antifa. Antifa is not a thing except for them. It's like a boogeyman. Black Panthers, new Black Panthers, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and it always has to do with some, people of color, Black people, or immigrants. It's just every day. It's a sycophant. So I call it the distraction tour because they go from one distraction to another. And their biggest distraction right now is them grifting off of a man's death, of someone who met a horrible end. They're grifting off of Charlie Kirk's death. Now, I'm not disparaging Charlie Kirk. I'm just telling you what they are doing. And so everything is a distraction. It is a show. He loves doing this, even though it's nothing. It's an executive order. It means nothing. This is pageantry. This is show producing 101. What he is essentially doing in the Oval Office in the White House, this is The Apprentice. This is The Apprentice, not 2.0. It's 3.0 because 2.0 was the first administration. And now this is The Apprentice, Celebrity Apprentice, the second administration. So it's a show. Just like all of the stuff that you see in that briefing room, a show. Nothing comes out of that. Caroline Leavitt is not the real press secretary. She's a distraction. She's the lead character in the media TV show for Donald Trump. She's a main character. Not the main character, a main character, but she carries no weight. That was Charlie Kirk. So he will be missed for that. Cover-uption is a real thing, whoever just said that in the chat. So this is down. Now, how long does it take him to say, I'm going to send troops to Memphis? Does that deserve a press conference, a briefing, signing in the office? No, but all of these people are there because it makes you think that they are doing something. And they ain't doing shit. And so I hate to call it death grifting, but that is what's happening now with the administration. And somehow they have sanctified and deified someone who was a human being and deserves, empathy and deserves condolences in his families and did not deserve to meet that untimely death. But now it is death grifting. They'll never miss an opportunity to capitalize on a scandal or a story. And so now Donald Trump is listening to the folks around him, listening to him kiss his ass. I don't know. Let's see. Is Stephen Miller having a second turn at it? Let's.
Do you plan on designating Antifa finally a domestic
They're taking
terror organization?
Well, it's something I would do, yeah. If I have support from the people back here, I think we'd start with Pam, I think. But I would, if you give me, I would do that 100%. And others also, by the way. But Antifa is terrible.
Are there other groups that you can think of?
There are other groups, yeah. There are other groups. We have some pretty radical groups, and they got away with murder. And also, I've been speaking to the Attorney General about bringing RICO against some of the people that you've been reading about that have been putting up millions and millions of dollars for agitation. These aren't protests. These are crimes, what they're doing, where they're throwing bricks at cars of ICE and Border Patrol. And they come in with a beautiful new car. They're so proud. It's
That's
Border
not
Patrol,
Antifa.
ICE, it's got whatever it is. And they're throwing rocks at it. And after 50 yards, it looks like an old beat-up vehicle. It was just brand new. It was just bought for the purposes. And they don't have to take that anymore. I let it be known. We'll take responsibility. They don't have to take it anymore. And they don't want to take it. They were told by a past administration, it became almost a culture, if somebody throws a rock at you, do nothing. If somebody spits in your face, do nothing. And I say, when they spit, you hit. Do whatever you want. You do whatever the hell you want. I watched it so sick it made me. For 4 years, I had to sit home and watch people screaming at policemen and spitting in their face, and they weren't able to do anything. They just had a grin and bear it. They're standing up like a piece of steel. And a woman, in many cases, women, you can see they're professional agitators. I had one the other night.
Okay.
I had four the other
They're
night.
calling it enough. They're calling Antifa, whatever. These are we called them anarchists back in the day. And is Antifa a real thing? Antifa is real in the sense of it's individuals and autonomous groups who identify as anti-fascist. So they are, for folks who are anti-fascist, they don't like them. Or Antifa. They participate in a decentralized, anti-racist, anti-authoritarian political movement. However, it's not a single unified organization with a hierarchical structure, a formal membership, or a central command. So this distinction, this is according to the facts, according to the AI overview on my computer, this distinction has caused significant public confusion, with some portraying it as a single large-scale terrorist group and others downplaying its existence entirely. So it's not an organized group. And so they're against people who are against fascism. Now, I don't believe in property destruction or violence or any of that. But they use Antifa as a catch-all. And when you think of Antifa, don't you think, maybe I'm wrong, when I think of Antifa, I feel like they're trying to talk about black people or something. Antifa. I mean, am I wrong? It's almost like BLM or the new Black Panthers. So is anyone in this press conference going to ask about Epstein? Is anyone in this press conference going to ask them about Epstein? Is anyone going to ask them why they're using the horrible death of a young man for their own political expediency? Is anyone going to ask him that? Let's listen to a question.
Organizations in the assassination. I'm wondering if you think if Charlie Kirk's assassin worked alone or if he worked with it.
I don't know. I mean, I can tell you he didn't work alone on the internet, because it seems that he became radicalized on the internet. That's just by watching same things that you're watching and hearing. It looks like he became radicalized over the internet. And it seems like he has wonderful parents, brought in a wonderful neighborhood, smart guy, great boards, great marks, great student. And then something happened to him over a fairly short period of time. It looks like he was radicalized over the internet, and it's radicalized on the left. He's a left. I have a lot of problems with the left, and they get protected.
Will someone please challenge him on this?
Protected, but as you understand, I think very well from the tone of your question. Thank you very much.
There's no proof.
Israel. First on Venezuela, what can you tell us
Oh
about
my
this
God.
Venezuelan boat that
They just
was
let him get
taken
away
down?
with that.
And do you plan to provide proof?
That's why I say it's
narco-terrorists
all a
were
show.
on the way to the
Sir, there is nothing. There's no evidence now that he was unaffiliated. Where is the evidence that he was left? What is your evidence of that? How is he left? Did he say anything that's lefty? Did he is there some proof? Is there what? Is there what's your evidence? He has none. And he goes, we'll talk about that. Move on. And then he goes to the next person because he doesn't want anyone to challenge. Groypers are alt-right. But they will use that. So that will stand. That soundbite will run everywhere. There are news organizations carrying that. And they will say, oh my God, he's left. The president says he's left. And that will be written about. And then it'll get out there. And before you can even correct it, whether it's real or not, do we know he could be? Who knows what he is? But I don't think he's saying anything yet. He knows. Now, if he had some proof that he was left, he said, you're reading the same things I'm reading. Like what? What are you reading? What are you reading? Will anyone ask him that? It's all a distraction. And I don't think Charlie Kirk's death obviously didn't start out that way. There are conspiracy theories. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I don't think it started out that way, but it certainly turned into a death grift and an opportunity that sadly presented itself for them to be able to distract from the most important story, I believe, right now and to come, is the Epstein files. Is anyone going to ask about the Epstein files here? Because I would say, okay, sir, we've had a couple of days of Charlie Kirk. The funeral was in for a couple of days or whatever. So we'll get back to that. But can we go back to the Epstein files? Pam Bondi is here, and also Kash Patel. They're all here. You're all here in a room right now at the same time. Can we discuss this? Why have you not released it? You've told Pam Bondi, she's standing right there next to you. You told her to release all the information, and she hasn't. So can you guys, right while we're here, talk to us about what is happening? This is not about that. Well, this is a press briefing, isn't it? And I'm a member of the press. I want to be briefed on this. But no. Today, instead, you have them and him spilling light. And there it is. He's talking to Pam Bondi. Do you think this question is about Epstein? Let's see what he's saying.
Education, schools, everything else, but somewhere along the line something happened. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. How will you send the National Guard into Chicago without the cooperation of the governor and the mayor?
Well, if they do cooperate, that's good. If they don't, it's not going to matter to us at all. You know who wants to help us? Police department. They have no respect for the governor. They have no respect for the mayor. They respect us. And we found that in Washington. You know, we haven't had total support in Washington from government, as you know, from everybody. I don't want to say the mayor because she was better than most, but we haven't had great, but we have had great support from the Metropolitan Police. They're like brothers of these people. They're really like brothers. You see that. They work together.
They're like brothers.
And so if the governor wants to support, as I said to Bill, it's going to be his proudest moment, what he's going to do, the governor of Tennessee, what's going to happen with Memphis. In 3-4 weeks, we'll stand together and we'll say, look at this. The crime has almost disappeared, maybe completely disappeared. In Washington, they don't even know how to record it because it's down so much. You know, they've never heard. I heard 87% is down. I said, really? Who are the 13%? Because it's more than that. It's actually more. Hard to believe, right? You're going to have the same results in Chicago. And we hope we have the governor's help, but if we don't, we're doing it without him.
Okay,
so Mr. President, you had the framework that's been agreed to with TikTok, for example. Will China continue to have a stake in the company, or?
Well, we haven't decided that, but it looks to me, and I'm speaking to President Xi on Friday.
Please ask Epstein question.
And, you know, frankly, more importantly,
TikTok. TikTok is going to TikTok. But what he's not mentioning is that he doesn't have the authority to do that. And all he had to do was to call these folks and say, we would like to offer you some help. Let's work together on this. What he's trying to do is set a precedent. Look, some folks say martial law. I don't know if I would go that far, but maybe he's just getting us used to it. It's a way to control people, to control the narrative, to control elections. But yet and still, no one is asking him about Epstein. No one is asking him about the authority or his lack of authority to be able to do that. No one is asking him if he's concerned about defying the Constitution, constitutional norms. What about diplomacy in these situations? Nothing. Just going, oh, okay, thank you. Now let me ask about TikTok. I don't get it. So today he has the press conference. You saw J.D. Vance there today. J.D. Vance was also filling in on Charlie Kirk's radio show. He was calling the far left and its alleged increased tolerance for violence. He assailed the far left, what he called, quote, the far left, and its alleged increased violence, tolerance for violence, while guest hosting the Charlie Kirk podcast, saying the administration would be working to dismantle groups who celebrate Kirk's death and political violence against their opponents. Now, I don't believe we should be celebrating the young man's death. I don't even know if that's accurate. Perhaps you've seen people celebrating. I have not seen anyone celebrating, but maybe that's just my naivety or because I'm not on social media that way. No one should be celebrating it, but I'm not going to tell people, I'm not going to police people on how to act. They do what they want. He hosted the podcast from his office in the White House, next to the White House. He spoke to high-profile members of the Trump administration, some of Kirk's longtime friends in the movement, including Tucker Carlson and Trump advisor Stephen Miller. Work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country, is what he said. And then Miller detailed how the administration would use the federal government to achieve this goal. All of it we will play for you. So we told you Donald Trump announced this just moments ago as we were watching him from the Oval Office now, but he announced this moments ago about Memphis. Here it is.
And we brought down crime a little bit in Chicago, but we're now going to bring it down very big. We're going to be doing Chicago probably next. I was with a great businessman, a man who is involved in all cities through his business. And I said, who do you think should be next after Memphis? And he said, sir, you've got to save Chicago. We're going to wait a little while. But he said, you got to save Chicago. You can't let it go. And this is a very prominent man that everybody knows. And there's from another man in Memphis.
Okay, there was another man in Memphis. Is there more to this soundbite about, as my friend Jolly says, I'll take things that did not happen for 1,000, Alex. Was that the end of the soundbite, Andy?
Yeah, that was it.
There was another man, a big man, who walked up to me crying, and he said, you got to save Chicago. Nobody can do it but you, sir. You got to just do it. Every once in a while, if someone says that, all right. I don't talk about it every day or every time. He uses it as a crutch for a conversation to bolster his point. People walk up to me every day and they go, oh my God, I love what you're doing. I miss you on CNN. I don't talk about that every day. I don't use it as a conversation crutch. You're the only person who can save us. Big guy, tears in his eyes, big dude. He came up to me and said, you got to save Chicago, sir. You can't let that happen in Chicago. Wait till you hear what J.D. Vance, Stephen Miller, and Tucker Carlson said today. While J.D. Vance guest hosted Charlie Kirk's podcast. We'll play it for you. First, a word from our sponsors. Support comes from MSI Reproductive Choices. Now, I read this just the other day, and it really stopped me cold. The Trump administration is destroying $10 million worth of contraception paid for by taxpayers. And meanwhile, 257 million women around the world want contraception, but they can't get it because they're poor, they're too young, or they live in places where it just is not available. So here's the hard truth. When women can't get the contraception, you see more unplanned pregnancies, more unsafe abortions. In many countries, pregnancy is still the #1 killer of young women. MSI is out there, and they are changing dollars and 50 cents. It gives women the help that they need. $6.50 can give one woman the help that they need for a full year of contraception. And that's it. For $65, you can help 10 women take control of their lives. So you can keep girls in school and women working. Text LEMON to 511-511 or go to msiunitedstates.org. That's msiunitedstates.org. Text fees may apply. Support today comes from Mint Mobile. You know what I used to be? I was a procrastinator. Yeah. Always putting off things that could save me money until I heard about Mint Mobile's best deal of the year, and that is 50% off of unlimited premium wireless for new customers. So you can switch today, and you can pay just $15 a month for 3 months. It's unlimited premium wireless, same 5G network, same crystal clear service as the big guys, but for a fraction of the price. My team tried it, zero difference in quality, huge difference in savings, okay? And here is the thing. You can keep your same phone, your same number, your same contacts. But hurry, This deal ends on September 22nd. It ends on September 22nd, okay? Go to mintmobile.com/Don Lemon to get started. That's mintmobile.com/Don Lemon and save. Thanks to our sponsors. Okay, so here we go. JD Vance co-hosted Charlie Kirk's podcast today. This is how he introduced the show, and he did it from the campus, the White House campus, or whatever he calls it. Here it is.
Hey everybody, JD Vance here, live from my office in the White House complex, and filling in for somebody who cannot be filled in for, but I'm going to try to do my best. My dear friend, the great Charlie Kirk. The last several days have been extremely hard for our country. They've been hard for me, hard for my family, hard for the countless people in this building who knew and loved Charlie Kirk, and of course, they've been hardest most of all for his darling wife, Erica, and their two beautiful children. The thing is, every single person in this building, we owe something to Charlie. He was a joyful warrior.
That's enough. Again, you know what? I think anyone will tell you, this isn't really about Charlie. This is about the right's reaction to Charlie. This is about the myth that they built of Charlie Kirk. This is what they want him to be because they realize that there is some emotional attachment, especially coming from young people. This will somehow make them more famous or more popular or cement or galvanize their MAGA or political bona fides. Or some people say bona fides. So it has less to do with Charlie Kirk than how embarrassing they are, how they have really no gumption about, they will stoop to any level in order to keep power and to push their political views on others. And JD Vance has no personality. If anyone should be hosting a podcast, it should not be JD Vance. Boring AF, as they say. You want to watch water sit? I wish I had a glass of water here. That's JD Vance. Now, he did something. He told a flat out lie. Now, this is how you know when people are lying. But even MAGA won't believe him because they won't believe their own ears and their own eyes. But he said that Charlie Kirk did not say anything bad. No, this is his statistics. Excuse me, I'll get to the other one, the black woman. I'll get to that one later. Statistical fact that the left has the most lunatics. And I'm gonna give you the facts. Here it is.
And while our side of the aisle certainly has its crazies, it is a statistical fact that most of the lunatics in American politics today are proud members of the far left.
JD Vance, you are a liar because that is not a statistical fact. I've been telling you what the Anti-Defamation League has said about it. And now the Cato Institute is weighing in. This is what the Cato Institute is saying. Murders by politically motivated left-wing and right-wing killers. Left wing. Now look at the left wing is in the blue. The right wing is in the red. The FBI will tell you they call this domestic violence. Excuse me. They call this domestic terrorism. Pardon me. Scratch that. Check that. Domestic terrorism. And as the former FBI director Christopher Wray said, most of that is committed by right-wing extremists, white men on the right, mostly, very few women, if any at all. Some, but very few. And that's where the right-wing politically motivated murders are coming from, mostly from the right. So you have the FBI, then you have the Anti-Defamation League that said it's 75%, and now you have the Cato Institute. From 1975 to 1984, 36%. Then you have 1985 to 1994, 8%. 1995 to 2004, Oh, that's the number of murders, 36 and then 8. Sorry, that's not the percentage. I'm wrong, okay? In 1995 to 2004, 195. Again, these are the number of murders, not the percentage. 2005 to 2014, 45. Now look at the blue. The blue, that's the left. The red on the right. 2015 to 2025, 107 compared to 37. JD Vance, you are a liar. And then JD Vance said on this same show that Charlie Kirk did not say a certain thing about black women and brain power. Okay, let's hear it.
Of course, we have to make sure that the killer is brought to justice. And importantly, we have to talk about this incredibly destructive movement of left-wing extremism that has grown up over the last few years, and I believe is part of the reason why Charlie was killed by an assassin's bullet. We're going to talk about how to dismantle that and how to bring real unity that can only come when we tell the truth and everybody knows that they can speak their mind about the issues of the day without being cut down by a murderer's gun.
Okay, that was not the right soundbite. Do we have the right one?
Yeah, here it is.
The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words.
If we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
You did not hear that. That's not what he said. You didn't see that. That wasn't him. That was somebody else. He never said that. That's AI. That is just Antifa trying to fool you that Charlie Kirk said that. And the liberal lefties, it must be Kamala Harris, or maybe it's Joe Biden. I don't know. It's got to be Barack Obama. So that is not Charlie Kirk. He didn't say that. I mean, look, in his statement, he never mentioned all those black women. He said Hillary Clinton, and he was talking about, Republican white women. He never said anything about black women. Are you kidding me? These people are trying to change reality. No, and I know you think about it. My friend Jolly said it this morning. Don, do you think you're crazy in this moment? I was on the editorial call. My producers are like, yeah, sometimes I wonder if we're the crazy ones, but we're actually not. We're the ones thinking logically. It's just that it's so obvious what they're doing. Death grifting. They are death grifters. Why do you think JD Vance is doing a podcast? Excuse me? Excuse me, Mr. Vice President, you're going to do a podcast for us? What? Now, you know how that came about, right? How do we capitalize on this? They're strategizing about everything. I know it's awful. I know he died. I know he was killed. It was terrible. We have to figure out how we use this to our advantage. You don't think that there are people doing that? Come on now. Well, he's not there. Let's see. Let's get the board out. What if he filled in for Charlie? What if I know what the stats say about that it's right wing. So that's why we have to get out there and you have to say every single time that it's the lunatics on the left and they are the ones that commits the most violence. But that's not what the thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just have to get that message out there because they've been able to capitalize on that message for all of these years that our people have been doing these heinous acts. And now it's our chance because we're not going to have a bigger chance than this. We're not going to have a bigger chance than this. to show the people and to try to change the narrative about the right wing being the violent political extremists and, and the white guys with guns. We got to change that. That's our MAGA base. We got to. Just like we have to pretend. Look, we got away, guys, with pardoning the January 6ers. Come on. We can do this. We'll have JD fill in. We'll get them to go out and Stephen and everybody to say, and the president, that it's the left. And they'll believe it. They'll believe anything. You know what the president said back in the day. If I'm going to run for president, I'd run as a Republican because as they're so gullible, they'll buy it hook, line, and sinker. Paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. If you don't believe me, I'll play it. Find it for me, please. Please, producers. This is what they're doing. And then every day we're going to produce this as a TV show. What is today? Probably walk in with a big thing. I'm just good morning. Hey, everybody. Okay. Day 347 or 153 of the Donald Trump Show second season. Here's what we have on tap for you. Caroline's going to start the day off on Fox and Friends, and we have a real treat for you. The president is going to follow up and sit down and do an interview, and he's going to talk about Charlie Kirk. And then when that's over, we're going to let it fall out, take a break, and then we're going to send such and such over, going to do it from the lawn. This person's going to go on CNN. This person, we're going to send Mike over to MSNBC, and then we're going to do this person, and we're going to do that. And then in the afternoon, the president will hold a briefing in the office, and then we're going to really launch something on them. Think it's a game. Think it's a game. I'm telling you, this is what we're witnessing right now. This is the reality of what is going on. And if you've seen it, then you know it. And all the talks like in the SUVs in the back, well, do you really think that they'll go for that? Come on, sir. Yeah, they'll go for it. Remember what happened? You thought it was over when you said grab him by the pussy. This is nothing. We can fix this one. And then on top of that, we'll do something that's really going to piss off the left. We're going to send troops into a city. Going to throw them off a little bit because it's in a red state, but it's kind of blue because people there are a little bit liberal. But listen, we're going to, and it's also there's a big black population there, so we're good. We're good. But because we don't want to go, Chicago's going to pose too much of a challenge for us because they don't want it there. And then we may get, we don't want them seeing the pictures of the people pushing back and all the salt trucks that are out and they're going to block us. So we don't want, that's a bit too much. Memphis will be easy. They're not Chicago. They don't have as much resources, as much infrastructure. They'll just do it. It's a red state. We're good. Let's do that. But we can just talk about Chicago. We'll keep Chicago as the talking point as we are going into Memphis. Y'all think I'm lying, right? I'm telling you, it's all a game. It's all a grift. The other part of the game in the grift today, happening as JD Vance is filling in. JD Vance saying leftists are much likelier to celebrate the violence. Here it is.
That's the one we watched before. The one.
Oh,
about
that
black
was the one
women.
that you.
Yeah.
Ow. Well, why didn't you tell me that? Well, now he's calling on Andy. Are you listening to this one?
Yes.
Employers to get fired. I'm not going to fire you, Andy. I'm kidding. He's calling on employers to get people fired. He wants people to rat out their fellow employers. If you say something that is anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, anti-Charlie Kirk, if you say, well, you know what, I didn't agree with Charlie Kirk's political views. He said a lot of hurtful things about people like me. Call him out and get him fired. Now, I thought the cancel culture was on the left, but it appears the cancel culture is on the right these days. They want to cancel people left and right. And the people who are speaking out their own First Amendment right, using their First Amendment right and saying, hey, look, This is what the guy said, their own words. They're firing them. Like the reporter from the Washington Post, Karen Attiah, fired for using Charlie Kirk's own words. That's what J.D. Vance said. Well, this reporter said that, and that's not what Charlie Kirk said. That is what Charlie Kirk said. The sentiment of what she did was correct, and she did not deserve to be fired for that. But J.D. Vance is saying, I want you to rat. I want you to be a rat. I want you to be a stool pigeon and rat out your fellow employees. This is outrageous. This is 1984. This is like the Gestapo. This is like working at, towards the end. Here's J.D. Vance saying, rat your fellow employees out.
So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer. We don't believe in political violence, but we do believe in civility. And there is no civility in the celebration of political assassination. Get involved. Get involved. Get involved. It's the best way to honor Charlie's life.
Get involved. Rat him out. Get him fired. Don Jr. said that people on cable news, all those guys should be fired if you don't go along with the Charlie Kirk history rewrite. They should be fired. Reporters should be fired. Stephen Miller also appeared on the show today and said they're going to use every single lever that they can to root out people who disagree, to root out the people who don't go along with their grift, their cult, their authority. Here he is.
What emotions I'm feeling right now, this is something people say, you kind of know the answer. There's incredible sadness, but there's incredible anger. And the thing about anger is that unfocused anger or blind rage is not a productive emotion.
Right.
But focused anger, righteous anger, directed for a just cause is one of the most important agents of change in human history.
Charlie showed that. Amen.
And we are going to channel all of the anger that we have over the organized campaign that led to this assassination to uproot and dismantle these terrorist networks. So let me explain a little bit what that means. So,
Got 30 seconds, so be quick, Stephen.
The organized doxing campaigns, the organized riots, the organized street violence, the organized campaigns of dehumanization, vilification, posting people's addresses, combining that with messaging that's designed to trigger and incite violence, and the actual organized cells that carry out and facilitate the violence, it is a vast domestic terror movement. And with God as my witness, we are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name.
Thank you, Stephen. Don't go away. I'll be joined by a guest of Friends just in a few seconds.
Here's the thing. He didn't mention the domestic terror, and you know why he didn't do that? Because it doesn't serve them, because part of their own cult is part of the domestic terror that he refuses to mention, that he wants to dismantle. And ask anybody on the left about doxing. Who are the kings and queens of doxing? The calls are coming from inside the house, but you're refusing. And what you guys are doing is you're pulling the cord out of the wall, or you're throwing the phones into the garbage, or maybe you're bleach bidding them. More to come. A word from our sponsors. Support comes from Wild Alaskan Company. When was the last time you trusted the seafood that you brought home? I do now because of Wild Alaskan Company. It is wild caught. It's never farmed, no antibiotics. There's no GMOs, just clean, delicious fish that is right off the boat. My personal favorite is the sockeye salmon. I tell you guys that all the time. It tastes like the ocean itself, fresh, rich, incredible, good ocean, the clean ocean, perfect for the grill or a quick weeknight dinner. Okay, so every order supports sustainable fishing communities. You can taste the difference in every single bite. You get $35 off your first box at wildalaskan.com/lemon. That's wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off of your first order. Taste the difference. Trust the source. Support comes from Shopify. When I started this show, it was just a dream. Now it's real, and Shopify helped make it happen. Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide with tools to design your site, sell your products, even run email campaigns all in one place. Here at the Don Lemon Show, we use Shopify for our merch store, and it couldn't be easier. You can build a beautiful site, automate discounts, even find new customers with built-in marketing tools. And if you ever get stuck, there's award-winning 24/7 customer support. Award-winning 24/7 support. Sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon. Start your business today with Shopify and turn your dreams into with Shopify. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Yes, amen. Thank you to our sponsors. We appreciate you supporting the Don Lemon Show sponsors. We really do. The sponsors help us to stay viable out here on these streaming streets, this independent journalist media streets. So please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the like. It affects the algorithm, and more people become aware of our channel, our conversation, and our community that we are working on building here that is growing. We want it to continue to grow. So make sure you support us. Also, you can subscribe. Subscriptions are free. The subscribe button is at the right hand, the bottom of the screen, right next to the comments that you see scrolling. It's a big red button. And become a member. Our memberships are extremely reasonable, more reasonable than most here, because we want everybody to be able to get the truth. And so we keep it tight, do a few sponsors, we get the journalism out, the word out, and we keep it pushing. So thank you for supporting us. Now, speaking of this crazy notion that the right somehow has about what is actually happening in this world, I'm going to give to you, I'm going to play this. This is my friend JVL talking about this crazy world that we're living in. Donald Trump didn't win by, it's like a little bit more than 1%. And now all of a sudden people feel that in the media, and I guess, I don't know, the executives, that somehow Donald Trump has a mandate from the people. They're missing the mark. Here's JVL.
This is JVL from The Bulwark. This week, I wrote a piece about what happened to conservatism. Conservatism used to be about stability, about conserving stuff, about the rule of law, limited government, subsidiarity, and all that great stuff that goes back to Edmund Burke. But these days, it's more like it's just a dominance fetish. Like, conservatism doesn't seem at all interested in the rule of law, and it seems to want government to not be limited at all, and it really wants the federal government to be able to say exactly what anybody anywhere is allowed to do with their lives. The people in Alabama want to make sure that the people in San Francisco can't name their schools whatever the hell they want to name them. Anyway, this is all a big, long conversation and discussion about whether or not conservatism was always going to be like this, or whether this is just the end of the road and it was always headed here.
Conservatism is now just a domination fetish. I love it. And then check out this tweet. It's more related to what I was talking about Donald Trump winning the election by just 1.5%. Trump won a single election by 1.5%, and the entire American media apparatus decided that this was a mandate to reorient the entire culture into a cult of personality around him and his various hangers-on. Nobody wants this shit. Except, you can't just blame the right. You have to blame the left and the apathy and whatever the climate was out there, that people were just like, I don't even feel like going to vote. Now, I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was Russian money is long, the disinformation. I don't know. But here we are, and Donald Trump thinks he has a mandate, and he won the election by 1.5%. And I agree with this himbo president. The entire American media apparatus decided that this was a mandate to reorient the entire culture into a cult of personality around him and his various hangers-on. Truer words have never been spoken. One more tweet, put it up. This is quite literally where we're at. Kylie Chung, the concept of getting fired for acknowledging the things right-wingers say. This is where we are. Karen Attiah said what Charlie Kirk said, got fired. No lies at all in her story or in her posts, but she got fired because they're either afraid of the administration or they believe what the administration believes. That's where we are right now. I'm going to leave it here, guys, because there's so much to talk about. But I think that for this moment, I want you guys to understand that it is every day I have to figure out, like, what am I going to serve this community? How am I going to serve the people? What's the best way to do it? And for a story that I believe has, the shelf life of this story should be over. It's almost past its expiration date, the story. And so it is the reaction from the right, from the people like JD Vance and the right-wing grifters and podcasters and all of that they are capitalizing on this story so that they don't have to talk about Epstein. The administration is loving it because this is helpful. Every story that comes along, we're going to blow it out of proportion so that people won't talk about the Epstein files. So people won't be asking our boss and the person who put us in these positions why he isn't releasing. And so we need to get back to that. I believe that is the most important story of our time right now, is the Epstein story. Is it important to point out the hypocrisy in our government, in our culture, in our society? Absolutely. But we must remember Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. People want to know why the president of the United States is in the Epstein files. It's that simple. And I don't care how much they distract, we should keep demanding it. If you want to know anything about the show, you can go to donlemon.com and find out everything you need to know. Hit the watch button. That's our main show on YouTube right there. When you hit that watch button, if you haven't subscribed on the other screen, the screen that you see the comments rolling at the bottom, you can hit subscribe right there, that little bell. And then right next to it is a join button. You can join. If you're on an iPhone, there's a join button now on the iPhone. You can become a member. Okay? And if you go back to donlemon.com and click on merch, you demanded it. There it is. I don't have any merch with me right here. Oh, I do. My computer, my little sticker. See my little sticker? It's the Don Lemon Show. We're going to play the song today because we need a little cheering up. Oh, and while we were doing the breaks, I was eating a little. Can I tell you guys what I was eating? I'll tell you guys what I was eating. Sometimes you just need a kid. You remember the comforts that you had when you were a kid? I went to the grocery store the other day, and I saw Campbell's soup. And it was the vegetarian vegetable soup that I always got. It was always in my lunchbox when I was a kid. You'd have that. Maybe you had like a ham sandwich, some chips, and some Campbell's vegetarian vegetable soup. So I picked up some Campbell's vegetarian vegetable soup, and I picked up some Campbell's chicken and rice soup, and then also cut up a fresh watermelon. I had it with my saltine crackers, and I'm good. Sometimes you just have to go back to the old school. Someone said, ew, I don't know. I haven't had it in a long time. It was really delicious. Okay, everyone. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting. You know, I always say you can be informed without being inundated. So until I see you back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. We got to play the song and then we'll go. Here it is.
It's the Don Lemon Show. It's the Don Lemon Show. He's unmasking the truth. He don't take no shit. It's the Don Lemon Show. Don Lemon. Don, 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 Don. Release the Epstein files.
I love it. Oh, someone reminded me, Andy, do we have photos? We got merch. If you go and you buy merch and you wear it, and you send us a picture, we're going to put you on. So that's our merch store. Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Who is this?
This is Willette.
Willette with the fan. You know what? I lied. I didn't even see I had this. I didn't even see I had this over here. Willette, you are gorgeous. She's got the fan, and you can see her Lemon Nation shirt behind the fan. Hi, Willette. Where's she from? Did it say?
No, but she sent several photos if you want to go.
Oh, she's got the socks. No, Willette, no. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Socks, fan, shirt. I love it. Thank you, Willette. Amazing. Thank you. I love her enthusiasm. Thank you. Okay.
This is Gwen from Maryland.
Hi, Gwen from Maryland. I love she's got the yellow fan. What's your favorite? Is it black or yellow? Black and yellow.
I like the yellow.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like both of them. The yellow is the OG, is the original one. But the black one is stealthy. You can whip it out. Yes. And it's like, it depends on what day. If you're in a cheerful day, you do the yellow. And if you're having a dark day and you want to throw someone some shade, do the black one. What else do we have? Thank you.
This is Mikelva from Yolanda. Oh, maybe someone named Yolanda sent it in, maybe.
Oh, okay. And then she's at the Bellagio, so she's chilling and hanging out. Thank you for your support. I can barely see. Tell them to get a closer shot next time. Lemon Nation shirt. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let me zoom in a little
supporting
bit.
the show. There she is. Oh, she's a cutie. Tell your friend to get closer. You've got a beautiful face.
We have Christy from Northern Virginia.
Christy, I wore that t-shirt yesterday. Turn the TV off. I love it. The Don Lemon Show. Thank you, Christy. Another beautiful lady.
Vivian.
Oh my gosh, I love her. Turn the TV off and her old people be knowing mug. I love it. Hi, Vivian. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for supporting the Don Lemon channel.
And then we have two more, both from Yolanda.
Hi, Yolanda.
See, there's a close-up picture that you wanted.
I know. There she is. And then is this her friend who sent it in?
Oh.
Or is it a family member? They kind of look alike. Maybe it's a family member.
Yeah, it says Yolanda and
sent
Mikelva.
the photo in.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Yolanda.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful. Yes, there they are. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. You're both gorgeous. All right. Is that it? Oh, who's that face? Woo, that's me. I'm just going to show you guys something real quick back here. Do I have it? I'm going to show it. Okay, here we go. So today was kind of like breaking news. And so this is what I did right here on the show. And so we have to figure out what I'm going to do tomorrow. Should I do that? The purple or the blue? That's my morning show. That's a purple. I love this color right here. And that one. Or that one. I'm going to stick with this one for now. Okay, guys. I appreciate you. So I'm going to see you back here 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow for Hot Topics. Until then, turn the TV off. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support.